Please remember, after watching these series of modules, that this is just one way, one approach to teaching your child about radio. This approach would work very well with a group of children. It would be a great thing to do in the classroom. It may work very well for your particular child. However, it may also not, and you may need to adapt what you're doing to your own child's specific passions and interests, which is, of course, always the case. When working with your kids using movement methods. So for example, with Rowan, some of these activities I did just like we've showed you in these videos, and some of them I adapted to make them more intrinsically interesting to him. So for example, when we were doing the sorting of the light spectrum and the invisible light spectrum, what I did was I made use of Rowan's beloved cartoon characters from Cartoon Network to make it more intrinsically interesting to him. So instead of it being me and Josh and Craig and some of the other people who you saw in the video, I used his cartoon characters. So I drew the characters for him, and I colored some of them in red and some of them in blue, and they all had a particular label in their hands. And rather than sorting people themselves, we just sorted the cartoon characters for him. You could also do that as a sort of treasure hunt to again make it more intrinsically interesting to the child. What you also saw us do in this video was to make use of a couple of our dogs, Bruce and Luna, and this is another great way of making an activity intrinsically interesting for a child by involving animals. So we chose to use our dogs in this particular activity. If you have horses, you could use horses here. If I did an activity like this with Rowan in the past, I may have tried to use some of his ducks. Now, of course, I wouldn't be able to have the ducks loose because they wouldn't behave, but people could carry the ducks and the ducks could participate in the activity. Do whatever you need to do to make the child laugh, to make the child intrinsically interested in the activity, because they're much more likely to remember what you're trying to tell them if they are.